I tell people all the time. I mean, I used to see guys sitting at a bar by themselves, or just sitting by themselves eating and grabbing a little meal, and I'm like, man, I feel so bad for that guy. Like, you almost want to go join him. And now I realize, like, that dude was in heaven.
Have you done that, gone to a restaurant by yourself and just been able to take a breath?
By myself?
Or, yeah, you had that phase of like,
Of course not.
If you walked into a restaurant and you saw Joe Flacco sitting there by himself, would you join him or just be like,
I would tell him, bro, we gotta go get in the back room or something. You don't need to be in the front, you know?
That was Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase from middle of the season when Joe had been traded by the Browns to the Bengals, and Joe Flacco is here now, 17 years into his NFL career. Joe, it's great to see you. I remember interviewing you after you won the Pepsi Rookie of the Year in 2008, early 2009 in Tampa.
Down in Tampa Bay. That's probably the last time I've been in this scene right here.
Is that right?
I think so. I don't think I've been down here since that year.
Well, my earliest, I almost signed with the team his rookie year, coming off my spleen injury. And they kind of like wanted me to be like the backup, and I was like, I'm not ready to be the backup. I'm still messed up. But they were like, yeah, man, with this Flacco kid, we really like him. I ended up on the Tennessee Titans.
You did.
And you came there divisional weekend. Yeah. And that was my first time I got to see you in person. And damn, I mean, I always tell people you're the most underrated quarterback that really of this era in a lot of ways.
Well,
your talent was unbelievable. You made, what was that, the 3rd and 18 throw down the right sideline there?
I think to Mark Clayton, probably.
Yeah, you had no business beating us that day, but you did.
We were lucky that Chris Johnson got hurt.
Exactly right. And we fumbled inside the 10-yard line, I think, three times, right?
You also had Lendale White that year.
Lendale White.
I mean, both good backs, but Chris was rolling early in that game.
Right.
And
hurt his ankle.
And got hurt, and that helped us out a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys were 13-3.
Yeah, we're home field advantage.
You came to Baltimore that year. I threw 3 picks in that game.
Right.
Kerry Collins was playing well.
Right.
Good defense.
Yeah, it was the best team I was ever on.
But yeah, man, that got us to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, it did. Yep,
that was the year that you guys desecrated the terrible towel. That's why you lost.
Right?
Yeah,
that's right.
The curse lingered for years to come.
It lingered.
I think back to when you were a rookie. As I understood at the time, and correct me if I'm wrong because I often am, the goal was to start the season with Troy Smith as the starter, but he got, of all things, tonsillitis, right?
I don't even know what he got, but Kyle Bowler and Troy Smith were on the roster as well, and it was pretty evident that I wasn't going to be the guy. I mean, I wasn't getting a ton of reps at training camp. We had 1 million reps, so I was getting a little bit, but I got in with like 2 minutes left in the New England game preseason. Then we played Minnesota the second preseason game, and I got in another with 2 minutes. And then the third preseason game came, and I wasn't supposed to play at all. It was supposed to be Kyle and Troy.
Right.
And I believe sometime during the week, Kyle tore a labrum in his shoulder.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. So he was done. Right.
And then, like, as we were getting ready to leave, Troy comes down with a sickness. So then, like, 11 o'clock that day, we're playing the St. Louis Rams in the third preseason game. And they're like, hey, Joe, you're playing the whole game. You're the only guy we got on the roster.
Right.
So I go out there and, like, with very few reps in training camp, I went and played the whole entire third preseason game, and then the kind of rest is history. Like, I played couple snaps in the fourth preseason game, and then Cincinnati Bengals. Here we go.
Have you ever been nervous in your life?
Oh yeah.
You are?
Oh yeah.
Because you don't change emotions much.
Geez. There was a point in my career where I felt like, all right, you go win the Super Bowl, you do this, and then those kind of feelings go away.
Right.
And then you do that. And then you start preparing for a game again, and you're like, all those same feelings come back that you've always had before a game. And it was honestly like a learning experience, and it probably did have a calming effect to just say, all right, you just got to start embracing. You got to learn how to embrace the feelings that you have getting ready for this game.
Right.
It's such a different game, man. There's one every week. There's so much importance on it. It's impossible to not kind of have those emotions going into a game. I mean, once the bullets start flying, you're out there.
You stop
you're
thinking
good.
about it.
But,
You're right.
But man, football is just a different thing. It always will be.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a coordinator change in season, especially late in the season, we always bring up 2012, Cameron out, Jim Caldwell in. Just give us an understanding of what that did to the Ravens, because it seemed to catapult you guys onto that trajectory that led to the Super Bowl win.
It's so tough because Cam did such a good job for us, So it's one of those things that you want to be careful when you talk about it. Jim, I mean, for sure.
Well, how do you process it as a player at the time?
Listen,
this guy's gone, new guy's in, we got to keep going.
We're doing all the same stuff, and we had a lot of trust in Jim. I was in a room with Jim. Jim's an unbelievable coach, unbelievable man.
Right.
And he got in front of the room and was just honest and kind of took it over and didn't hesitate. And, it gave us that confidence. Like, all right, he's ready to do it. at the same time, like Cam did such a great job for us for 5 years, you know, and it's a shame kind of the way it went with that. But man, Jim, like I said, he stood in front of the room, was honest, matter of fact. Here's what we're going to do. I think we all bought in and believed it, and then. You know, and we're able to go out there and do it. And listen, we had 5 years, or at least 2 or 3 years together in that offensive room where we were kind of like, we had been through some tough games, had some good times, had some bad times. So we were able to kind of draw from that and gain confidence from a lot of things.
Right. So where you at now? I mean, how long are we going to play? What's the next move here? You're a free agent.
Yeah.
How damn old are you now?
41.
Damn, you're getting old like
getting
me.
Up there, man. I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
At this point, like, I don't want to just sign up with anybody. I don't want to just play football or be on the sideline for the sake of saying I'm out there.
So you want to be in a spot that you're more about being in a spot where you might play rather than being on a good team and being a backup or something like that.
There's lots of things that go into it.
Okay.
You know, and listen, like I love Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I like the idea of going back to Cincinnati, but at the same time, you are resigning yourself to something there.
Joe's the man. There.
So there's a world where I could see that happening, but you got to see what's out there.
Right.
You got to just kind of, if things come or when they come, you have to just kind of weigh those options and make a decision. And I hope I'm in a position to make a decision. I don't know if I'm the best at doing that, because a lot of times when any opportunity is presented to me, I can kind of look at it as an opportunity.
Right.
But yeah, at the end of the day, listen, I love playing football. Standing on the sideline, being in the locker room with guys is fun. Standing on the sideline, not so fun.
Yeah, I hear you. You're kind of like the Grim Reaper of quarterbacks. Like, if they sign you on the team, it's like, the starter's going to go down and Joe's going to be in at some point.
There was a bunch of years where I was saying, man, like Fitzpatrick, everywhere he goes, he plays.
Right.
And I honestly, like, everywhere I've been, I've played. So
exactly.
It is kind of like maybe a sign for the starter there.
Yeah, like, Joe's here. Something's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So he's the in-house Giants fan, even though he never played for him. Obviously, his dad did. Tell him what he needs to know about John Harbaugh taking over as head coach.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it, for John. You know, get another chance to prove who he is. Listen, I think it'll be a little bit different from when he came in there 18 years ago, and it was my rookie year, and he was there to set a culture. I think he's a little bit different probably at this point, but at the same time, I think he can draw on that experience from coming into a new organization and getting back to a little bit of that. Like, where the past, after the first 3-4 years, he kind of established that culture that he wanted and was able to let the players take over a little bit more from there. But I think he'll probably be excited about being able to get back to the roots of it all and creating that foundation that he did in the early years in Baltimore.
Right. What do you? I just to switch gears off of Harbaugh a little bit into the Super Bowl this week. You got to play the Patriots. You got to experience them up close and personal. Right. Just to kind of tell us what jumped out about them when you played
They just
them.
make everything hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I've probably been underestimating them all year.
Right.
I kind of figured, they're going to lose eventually. Or they're going to be the team this year, like kind of like your Tennessee Titans. They were 13-3, and they get in there and they lose. They just can't get there.
Right.
But man, they've been proving me wrong the whole time, and I've still kind of been saying, I'm kind of picking Seattle, I guess.
Right.
But like I said, New England's been proving me wrong all year, and just in my own mind, they just make things muddy.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of. They do a good job of kind of everything, getting after the quarterback, kind of keeping everything in front of them and playing fast and just reacting to things.
Right.
And then their offense just being efficient and going and putting points on the board.
I want to pivot back to the Ravens because you had some overlap with Jesse Minter. He's only a year older than you. He was there for 2 years as a defensive assistant. Did you sense anything in him at the time that this guy's on the
It's tough to
upward?
remember the specifics. I think anytime you get coaches that are rolling through there and they're young and they're, especially on that side of the ball in Baltimore, you expect that at some point they're going to get a chance just because of the tradition of, creating, coaches and all that. And in the time that we're living now, I mean, it's the thing to hire these young guys.
I know, right?
Like the McCarthy hire and the Monken hire, those things are like
you'd never see that anymore.
Used to be normal, or just not the thing anymore. So while I can't remember the specifics, I think there's a handful of guys that have come through there where you expect at some point to see them.
All right, well, one more, because I do want you to talk about your cleats that you're going to do here.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in this. First off, you must be smart. How do you Tell me, like, the hardest offensive system you had to learn here, maybe in the last few years, whatever, with your changing of teams. And then a little bit of just, like, this year, you go from one team to another and you got to play right away. Like, tell people the hardest system you ever played in and then the mental gymnastics of doing it in the middle of the season.
I think the hardest system, like, if you want to just talk about I've ever played in.
Right.
Well, it's probably when I first went to college, and you go from a high school street ball type atmosphere where not totally, but you're a little bit raw, and you don't understand the game that much,
right?
To just being thrown in, and like you can only pick up pieces at a time because they're not. Like, it's not like they're sitting there spending all hours of the day with you to make sure that you learn the offense.
Right.
You have to learn some things on your own. I was fortunate when I went to Delaware is when I really started to feel like I started to learn football.
Gotcha.
Like it started to slow down for me, and I actually started to learn the game a little bit. And then you go to your first offense in the NFL, and I was in the number system, and that can be a little bit different because they definitely have some weird rules to make things work, and then you use the numbers, but you don't use the numbers once you really know it. And
right.
I think from then on, I've been able to use that foundation to kind of just to pick up things pretty quickly.
Like, could Cincinnati just give you the playbook the other day? Like, how did they call that game?
No,
or they just go, hey, we're only going to live here?
The first week against Green Bay, we definitely had a pretty basic game plan.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, we did pretty well with that. And then they go back to normal right away.
And you're like, wait, hold on.
I always tell people, though, like, it is easier to learn the game plan than learn the whole offense. Now, ultimately, you're gonna have to circle back at some point and learn the whole offense.
Right.
Because there'd be things coming up. I was looking at things on the screen, and I was like, all right, I need to ask a question as to what that is, but I'm going to give myself like a day or two to see if I can figure it out. And if I can't, I'll ask the question. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
That must be weird to be the old vet and being like, I'm not sure what this is.
But at the same time, because I am a veteran and have been around, I'm not embarrassed to ask the question. I just say, I don't know. Hey, guys, what is that? I've never seen that before. And like, I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, you should.
Tell us about your cleats.
Listen, these cleats are awesome. I mean, we're trying to get them on, guys. I've been wearing them for the last 2 years.
Cadix,
yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
And listen, everything evolves a little bit. I mean, look at the helmets and everything in this game. And I think with the amount of young kids playing sports and the surfaces are changing. We've traditionally played on grass. Whether it was a bad grass field growing up, it was grass. When you put that foot in the ground, there's going to be some give.
Right.
That grass is going to move with you a little bit. Now, these cleats, they pivot and they rotate. And they are built for grass, but like when you're on this turf and the amount that all of us are on turf these days, it's going to recreate that a little bit. And it's going to reduce the torque on your knee, on your ankle, on your hip. And I've been wearing them for 2 years, and what I keep telling people is, like, listen, I'm comfortable in the cleat. Everybody has differences with what they feel comfortable with.
Right.
But it reacts like a normal cleat. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If we can reduce the torque on your body, and it reacts like a normal cleat, it's just all benefit. And I think we're just in the beginning stages of it, and we're going to be able to modify these things and make them better and better and better. But listen, I've worn them for 2 years. Kyle Juszczyk wore them this year.
Okay.
I mean, Kyle had a great experience. I mean, he great footing, didn't slip around on the fields at all this year, and same with me. So
I thought I saw them around here. I thought you had a pair, or somebody was with you that had a pair. But
I don't know where my crew went.
Yeah, they did.
Jack was just over here, and I saw him holding a pair.
I
but
did
they
too, and I was like, damn, I wanted to see them. But that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's neat. Listen, I mean, when was the last time that a cleat bottom has kind of been rethought, reimagined a little bit? And I think it's 2026, and the amount that these kids, especially, like, listen, we do what we do. We've kind of built up our bodies, and we're looking for any little edge. But these kids, I mean, they're not in weight rooms yet.
No.
And the amount of time that they spend on their feet in these organized sports nowadays is just incredible. So I think anything you can do to reduce anything is going to help these guys out.
That's cool you're doing it around the field turf, because it is a thing, right? I mean, I don't think people realize that. You'd much rather play on grass. The field turf beats your body up.
And look at the NFL fields.
Exactly.
I mean, it pretty soon, in another 10 years, there's not going to be a single grass field in the NFL. Everything's going to be inside. Everything's going to be on turf.
Yeah.
And then when you go around all these youth sports, like, you don't want to have to show up and have puddles on the field and all that. It's all field turf. And listen, it is worse on the body. And your cleats do get stuck.
Yeah.
And you have to make that decision. Am I wearing sneakers? I can't wear that. I have to wear real cleats. And this is going to help treat it more like grass. And that's what we all want.
All right, cool.
Last one for you.
Yeah.
started college career in Pittsburgh. You've done the AFC North circuit. There's one team you haven't played for.
That's right.
They may be looking for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy, Omar Khan give you a phone call. What do you say?
Yeah, listen, it's a pretty cool idea, and I never would have thought about it. But obviously, going to the third team in the division this year, I probably would have had mixed feelings on it even 2 years ago. Like, man, do I really want to go to all this team or that team?
Yeah.
But kind of like we were talking about before I came on air. I'm so open to these opportunities, and I think that has the chance of being a great one. So
you're still balling, dude.
Yep.
I like watching you play.
Appreciate
Dan, your
it.
arm's never going to die out, I guess.
I hope so.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Joe
It's
Flacco
not.
is still going strong. Steelers, give him a phone call. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.